What if I told you that every woman, regardless of age, has a hidden biological universe inside her body that is more potent, enigmatic, and scientifically amazing than most men could ever dream of? That a woman eating a man's semen can trigger a series of genuine hormonal reactions that affect her mood, sleep patterns, stress levels, and even her immune system. This is not a work of fiction. It's biological. You'll never view intimacy or the female body in the same way after you grasp it. As a urologist and men's health specialist with more than 30 years of experience, I'm Dr. Mohit Cara. I assist men and women find vitality, confidence, and connection after the age of 60. I've dedicated my professional life to researching the effects of aging on intimacy and the ways that hormones, chemistry, and emotion interact long after most people believe that stage of life is ended. What I've discovered is straightforward. Man and woman are always conversing with nature. All it does is switch its language. The paradox is this. We believe that as we mature, desire diminishes. However, research demonstrates that when two emotionally and physically mature lovers connect, their bodies continue to emit the same potent chemicals, oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine, that once gave them a sense of vitality. Young people's chemistry never goes away. All it does is sleep and wait to be roused. In today's video, I'll reveal the little-known facts about women that every man over 60 should be aware of. These facts, which come from actual biology and psychology, not myth, can rekindle intimacy, rebuild trust, and strengthen love. I'll also share one amazing little-known scientific finding before we finish: how knowing what actually occurs inside a woman's body during the most personal act of all might alter your perception of both her and yourself for the rest of your life. Please take a moment to switch on the notification bell and subscribe before we continue. In this manner, you won't again miss another scientific conversation about aging, intimacy, and health. Every episode is created with individuals like you in mind, men and women who think that curiosity never stops at age 60. And leave a remark if you like learning anything new today. If not, type 0 and let me know how I may improve our next discussion. After setting the scene, let's dive into the intriguing inner lives of women. You're going to learn the truth about the female body, the secret symphony of hormones, chemistry, and emotion that continues to influence health, love, and connection well past the age of 60. One is a woman's body's secret symphony. Decades ago, when I started researching human love, I thought that a woman's body just remained silent after menopause, that the chemistry slowed, the hormones dwindled, and the rhythm of desire gradually vanished. However, I learned something very different from thousands of real patient tales and years of research. In actuality, the melody of connection never stops playing in a woman's body. It just alters the melody. A woman's body continues to be astonishingly active, receptive, and emotionally sophisticated well into her 60s, 70s, and beyond. The same intricate orchestra of chemicals that influence mood, attraction, and bonding are still released by her brain beneath the surface. These hormones, oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine, are not only associated with youth, they are the classic notes of human love. The mere act of holding hands can reopen those pathways, as can every tender touch and phrase. This is made much more intriguing by the close connection between biology and emotion. A woman's body listens when she feels safe, respected, and seen. Her blood pressure stabilizes, her heart rate decreases, and stress chemicals like cortisol start to decline. Her body knows how to be calm, her energy returns, and her immune system gets stronger. I've seen ladies who believed they were past their best resurrect just because their partners started being understanding, patient, and gentle. Her body seems to have been awaiting authorization to experience emotions once more, and a lot of males are unaware of this. Not only does this biological symphony impact her, but it also impacts you. Your oxytocin levels frequently increase in tandem with a woman's. Your heart literally starts to beat in time with hers, your mood improves, and your testosterone levels stabilize. When two people are truly connected, they can control each other's hormones, heartbeats, and even immune reactions. That's physiology, not poetry. Therefore, keep in mind that the music never stopped when you look at your lover and feel that time has muffled that aspect of life. It remains, awaiting attention. Though they may be more subdued, the rhythms of love, trust, and desire are stronger, wiser, and more profound than before. We'll look at how this symphony becomes even more complex in a moment, and how something as basic as intimacy or touch may trigger physiological reactions in a woman's body that science is only now starting to comprehend. What follows could fundamentally alter your perception of her and your relationship. The second is the language of hormones and touch. I frequently pose the straightforward question, when was the last time you truly held your partner? To my elderly patients. A moment of silence, a touch that lasts long enough for both hearts to hear, not just a brief embrace. Many stop, reflect, and then grin subtly, because that type of touch still has power, even at 60. It's known as oxytocin release in science. It's what I refer to as the body remembering love. A 10-second embrace can slow the heartbeat, reduce blood pressure, and soothe the nervous system. The same hormone that binds mother and child, builds trust, and calms fear is released by a woman's brain when a man hugs her tenderly. She feels protected in that moment because biology has spoken for her, not because words have been said. And in exchange, something lovely occurs. Signals are released by her body that increase testosterone, stabilize breathing, and restore a sense of vitality. At the most fundamental level of human design, touch is communication, not merely affection. A retired teacher who was one of my patients once informed me that she hadn't experienced compassionate touch in years. Because of his cardiac issues, her husband thought intimacy was too dangerous. However, they started to get back in touch once I gave them the facts behind how gradual, gentle loving may actually increase circulation and reduce stress. Both said they slept better, had less arguments, and felt more like themselves in a matter of weeks. Touch, not medication, was what transformed them. Beyond hugs, even small actions like a hand on the shoulder or fingers gliding over skin release endorphins, which are the body's natural analgesics. These small amounts of chemical reduce anxiety, relieve arthritis pain, and restore the radiance that no medication can replicate. Even while it might not express it aloud, the aging body nonetheless yearns for this language. Intimacy in later age is about present rather than performance, as touch teaches us. When a man patiently and kindly touches his spouse, her brain interprets that as a message, I'm secure, I'm loved, I'm able to open once more. Her chemistry then reacts, bringing back connections, feelings, and vitality that had before seemed long gone. However, few people are aware of something even more remarkable taking place beneath that surface. The body starts releasing a new set of chemicals, hormones, and neurotransmitters that can change mood, energy, and even immunity when this type of connection gets stronger. Indeed, what follows may be the most unexpected finding in contemporary science regarding the biology of women. Third, the chemistry of post-60-year-old female desire. I've heard innumerable men in my clinic over the years make the same silent admission. Doctor, I think my wife just doesn't want me anymore. And each time I have to stop and correct them gently. Age doesn't make desire go away. Rather, it alters its cadence. The excitement of novelty gives way to emotional resonance, the sense of emotional safety and profound understanding. That change is not a sign of weakness. The biology of the female body has this wisdom. The ovaries may slow down after menopause, but they never stop producing. Small, constant levels of testosterone, the hormone that stimulates curiosity, drive, and desire, are still produced by them. She used to feel alive in your arms, laugh a little louder, and lean in a little closer because of that same spark. Now, though, her intellect takes the lead before her body does. After the age of 60, a woman's desire starts in her heart, moves up to her head, and then never reaches her skin. Dopamine, the chemical of anticipation, and norepinephrine, the chemical of excitement, are released in her brain when she feels emotionally seen. When she first fell in love, these are the same neurotransmitters that rushed through her veins. I have witnessed 70-year-old couples rediscovering one another as though for the first time. After years of separation, one man told me he just started sitting with his wife every night, holding her hand and paying close attention to her stories. Something changed in a matter of weeks. She smiled more broadly, started to stroke his arm once again, and finally reached for him with the same warmth she had felt decades before. Science uses dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin to explain it. I describe it as emotional safety chemical. The strength with which this chemical promotes physical wellness is astounding. A woman's body becomes more receptive, her blood flow improves, and her stress hormones decrease when her emotional demands are satisfied. She has more energy, her skin looks better, and she sleeps better. It's not magic, it's a biological reaction to affection. The secret chemistry of connection is the solution to the question of why some couples seem to get closer as they get older, while others seem to get farther away. Even while this emotional connection is strong, there is a more astounding layer that lies beneath it. This layer illustrates how the female body interacts with a man's biology in ways that are not commonly understood. What follows may surprise you. It's where trust, intimacy, and science all come together in the most surprising way. 4. The surprising science of semen and the female body. This is where the real interest begins, and it may be a little awkward for some to discuss. However, as a physician, I think the body should be treated with honesty rather than shame. I've witnessed throughout the years how being quiet about some subjects causes misunderstandings, which in turn cause embarrassment. Let's talk candidly about a topic that science has started to investigate with unexpected findings. When a woman eats a man's semen, what actually occurs within her body? Although biology presents a much more complex picture, most people believe that semen's function is limited to reproduction. In addition to carrying genetic material, semen is a complex mixture of nutrients, hormones, enzymes, and neurochemicals that function as a living biochemical language. About 10% of it is made up of sperm. The remainder is seminal plasma, a substance that is high in proteins for defense, fructose for energy, and trace minerals like zinc and selenium for cellular stability. However, the hormones it contains are what really set it apart. Cortisol, melatonin, serotonin, and oxytocin. These are the same chemicals that our brains utilize to control stress, mood, bonding, and sleep. Through the lining of her digestive tract, a woman's body may absorb minuscule amounts of these substances when she consumes semen. Additionally, preliminary research indicates that these chemicals may have minor effects on physiology and mood, while science is still working out the full ramifications. Following intercourse, some women report feeling more at ease or emotionally connected, and this may not be a coincidence from a biological standpoint. According to a 2002 State University of New York study, women who were exposed to semen reported fewer depressive symptoms. These mood-regulating molecules were thought to be taken into the bloodstream, subtly promoting emotional equilibrium. I'm not claiming that this is a medical procedure, though. It's not. However, it does serve as a reminder of the close connection between intimacy and biology. It is not merely a symbolic act. Chemical communication is what it is. It's possible that nature created this connection to foster mutual well-being and deepen emotional ties. It can symbolize not only pleasure, but also a subtle exchange of life's chemistry for partners who share trust and health. There is, of course, another side to this discussion, one that calls for prudence and accountability. Because even while this link can have a beautiful effect on the female body, there are risks involved that should never be disregarded. And it's equally important to comprehend those hazards as it is to comprehend the possible advantages. You might be surprised by what you hear next. Every responsible adult should be aware of this aspect of the science before stepping over that thin line. 5. The other side. Prudence and safety. As a doctor, I have always felt that prudence and curiosity go hand in hand. Respecting the limits of human biology is essential to appreciating its beauty. I've talked to a lot of couples over the years who wanted to delve deeper into their intimacy, but were unaware that even the most natural behaviors have genuine medical hazards. Fear is not the issue. It has to do with consciousness. The female body is extremely complicated and delicate. Furthermore, safety must always come first when it comes to something as personal as oral contact with semen. Naturally, the spread of sexually transmitted illnesses poses the most risk. One of the most hazardous illusions I've had to dispel in my profession is the widespread belief that oral sex is safe. Semen can harbor bacteria and viruses, including gonorrhea, herpes, HPV, and HIV. These infections can spread without obvious wounds or blisters. They can get in through tiny gaps in the throat or mouth. That risk is increased for women over 60, whose mucous membranes are frequently thinner and more sensitive. I've worked with people who didn't realize that a sore throat following intimacy could be an indication of a more serious infection. The only real means of protection are awareness and communication. Seminal plasma hypersensitivity, which is essentially an allergic reaction to proteins in semen, is another rare but concerning illness. Women have swelled, itched, or even had trouble breathing minutes after exposure, in my experience. Although rare, this serves as a reminder that the body can react in unpredictable ways. This explains the importance of frequent health checks and open communication between spouses, particularly as the immune system deteriorates with age. The majority of males are likewise unaware of something. Semen's chemical composition reflects their individual way of life. Toxins or pharmaceuticals may unintentionally be passed through a man's seminal fluid if he consumes large amounts of alcohol, takes certain medications, or eats badly. Your partner's surroundings is your body, I've always told my male patients. It's not just for you to look after yourself, it's also for her. Therefore, even if these close interactions may have emotional or biochemical benefits, they are all meaningless without honesty, trust, and medical knowledge. After the age of 60, genuine intimacy is about being aware of and respectful of what binds you together, not about having no fear. And amazing things start to happen when you realize that safety is the cornerstone of passion. Because the emotional connection between two people not only endures, but also grows stronger when openness takes the place of shame and trust replaces fear. In the following section, we'll examine that connection, the unseen emotional link between aging hearts, and how it can cure the body and the mind in ways that science is just now starting to understand. 6. The emotional bridge between two aging hearts. When I gaze into the eyes of couples who have been together for 40 or 50 years, I sense an intangible, silent bridge between them that science is still unable to quantify. When two people have experienced decades of laughter, loss, forgiveness, and rediscovery, a link is formed. It's a biological bridge, not simply an emotional one. It is composed of synced memories, heartbeats, and hormones. The fact that it doesn't deteriorate with age is its greatest beauty. It gets stronger, if anything. No matter how old a woman gets, her basic needs remain the same. She wants emotional understanding, safety, and visibility. Her body reacts in amazing ways when a man approaches her in that setting with tender attention rather than with ostentatious gestures. Her system is overloaded with oxytocin, the hormone of bonding, which reduces stress and brings her back to peace. Her heart rate stabilizes, her blood vessels relax, and her brain starts to release dopamine and serotonin, chemicals that promote happiness and tranquility. For this reason, emotional stability has the power to heal in ways that medicine alone could never. One of my patients, a widower in his late 70s, started dating again after being single for a long time. He informed me that he was more shocked by how strongly he could still feel than by the resurgence of physical desire. He claimed that his body feels lighter when she chuckles. My chest tightens when she worries. There was nothing metaphorical about what he was describing. It was physiological resonance, with his body reacting to hers through a genuine hormone exchange and messages that are discreetly transmitted between two individuals who are connected. That is mature intimacy's real power. Two hearts literally start beating in time when there is trust and affection between them. Their stress levels fall, their breathing synchronizes, and even their immune systems start to mimic each other's fortitude. Because of this, couples who continue to communicate and show affection into old age tend to live longer, suffer from fewer chronic illnesses, and bounce back from stress more quickly. Their bond turns into a kind of therapy that science is only now beginning to understand. Therefore, if you've ever pondered why love feels different now, slower, softer, yet somehow deeper, it's because time has reinforced the bond between your hearts. It conveys not only passion, but also peace. And the secret to well-being, vitality, and purpose is found in that peace. Despite how remarkable this emotional bond is, there is another level that exists inside the framework of the female mind. Because it's not enough to understand her body. Understanding a woman's psychology, intuition, and the emotional intelligence that drives every aspect of her being are also essential to gaining a true understanding of her. And that's precisely our next destination. 7. The psychology of female intuition and emotional intelligence. I have studied physiology, chemistry, and hormones for decades. However, the more I've worked with women, the more I value the strength of feminine intuition, which science can't quite measure. It's not magic. It's not a mystery. It is the outcome of a mind that is hardwired to experience intense emotions, see beyond words, and react empathetically. A woman's brain retains its sensitivity even after the age of 60, when hormones such as estrogen start to diminish. Actually, she frequently becomes more emotionally aware. She has the precision of a scientist and the empathy of a caring when it comes to reading posture, tone, and quiet. It's how her brain maintains a relationship. When I speak with older ladies, they frequently tell me that they simply know when their partner isn't doing well. Even before he speaks, they sense it. That intuition is not a hunch, it's biological. Even after menopause, women's limbic systems, the area of the brain responsible for processing emotions, remain extremely active. It enables her to pick up on subtleties that most men miss, including changes in energy or breathing patterns. It's her natural sense of safety and love. Additionally, that radar produces actual bodily pain when it perceives withdrawal or distance. The same parts of her brain that are triggered by a physical wound light up. Because of this, emotional detachment can harm her body just as much as her emotions. This is an important truth for males to realize. You gain her trust when you decide to listen to her instead of defending her, when you face her in the eyes rather than averting them. Her mind calms, her cortisol levels fall, and her oxytocin levels rise. Your transparency speaks louder than any hormone, so she doesn't have to read between the lines anymore. Just because one individual learned to listen without interrupting, I've witnessed strained relationships suddenly become more amicable. It serves as a reminder that having strong feelings is not a sign of weakness. It serves as the cornerstone of strength between two individuals who have experienced enough life to understand how brittle love can be. Emotional intelligence does not diminish with age, it makes it better. A woman's yearning for authenticity increases, her empathy deepens, and her intuition becomes more accurate. She can't stand pretending any longer. She seeks the truth. Her entire chemistry changes from defensive to appreciative when she discovers it. However, there is another aspect of this relationship that is equally important: the rejuvenation that occurs on a bodily and spiritual level when intercourse itself turns into a therapeutic process. Because something remarkable happens when love is expressed not only verbally, but also physically. And in the next section, we'll look at how that energy that two people exchange can regulate hormones, restore vitality, and even slow down the aging process in ways that are still shocking to modern science. 8. The spiritual science of intimacy in later life. Over the years, I've concluded that the most effective anti-aging medication isn't obtained in a medical facility. You can find it in connection. Something wonderful occurs inside the bodies of two individuals over 60 when they exchange genuine affection, touch with care, embrace each other with trust, or just breathe together in silence. There is more to it than romance. It's biological. Energy is the healer. In its purest form, intimacy turns into a sort of treatment that helps the heart and mind regain equilibrium. The same chemical that young people make during excitement or arousal is released by our bodies when we feel near. This tiny, undetectable gas enhances circulation, relaxes blood vessels, and boosts oxygen delivery to the heart, brain, and yes, even the reproductive organs. I've witnessed older couples who had trouble sleeping or feeling tired feel rejuvenated just by reestablishing connection in their lives. Whether it's a slow embrace, a kiss, or tender lovemaking, the act itself activates the chemistry of energy. It serves as a reminder that the body is still alive and has the capacity for delight. Women's delicate tissues, which frequently become drier or more fragile with age, are revitalized by this increased blood flow. It maintains their health, comfort, and responsiveness. The same response boosts confidence, endurance, and erections in men. The ultimate feedback loop is this one. The body of one partner awakens the other by sending signals when it feels active. The outcome is emotional rejuvenation as well as physical pleasure. The way intimacy impacts the spirit, however, is what most intrigues me. Couples who stay emotionally and physically close report feeling younger, calmer, and more appreciative. Recent research indicates that this is not a coincidence. Their immune systems get stronger, their stress signs decrease, and their minds grow more adaptable to anxiety or depression. Love seems to be interpreted by the body as a call to live. I've frequently explained to my patients that honoring connection, not chasing youth, is the real goal of intimacy in older life. To keep in mind that intimacy is communication, touch is language, and passion may still be found in the silent rhythm of two hearts repeatedly learning from one another. However, this is not the end of the narrative. Intimacy may calm the heart and heal the body, but there's more to it than that. There's a deeper biological reason for all of this. It's not just about comfort or passion. It's about how two bodies start to meld together after years of love in ways that science is just now starting to understand. What happens if two chemistries, two lives, and two hearts are genuinely united? We'll find out about that next. 9. The deeper biological bond, when two bodies become one. I have studied human connection for decades, and I can tell you this. Deep love causes two people's bodies to start speaking a language that is much older than words. Even though you can't see it, it exists and quantifiable. Every breath, heartbeat, and physical contact turns into a biological communication channel. Hormonal synchronization is what scientists refer to it as. I refer to it as the blending of two lives into a single beat. It is the result of love turning into chemistry and transcending emotion. Over many years of intimacy, a couple's endocrine systems, the body's hormonal signaling network, begin to synchronize. Their cortisol, oxytocin, and even melatonin levels begin to drop and fluctuate. Because of this, long-term spouses frequently sleep better together, recover from illnesses more quickly, or experience anxiety while they are apart. They practically learn to rely on each other to keep them balanced. It is the plan of nature, not a sign of weakness. Fundamentally, love is biological cooperation. I previously worked with an old couple who were in their early 80s. The husband had recovered from a slight heart attack, and his wife remained at his side the entire time. His heart began to beat erratically once more when she eventually returned home for a night's sleep. It steadied in a matter of minutes when she got back the following morning. It's no accident. Biochemistry is that. Her presence caused him to release oxytocin, which reduced his stress chemicals and helped his heart beat more rhythmically. Their connection was physiological rather than poetic. This relationship is significantly stronger for women. Frequent physical contact protects bone density, mood, and even memory by regulating estrogen and progesterone. Emotional connection increases testosterone in men in a healthy way by giving them a sense of purpose and belonging, rather than by inciting aggressiveness. For this reason, even after decades together, couples who cultivate both physical and emotional intimacy frequently report feeling alive once again. They literally rekindle their chemistry. Therefore, I don't mean it metaphorically when I say that love alters your biology. I mean it literally. Your heartbeat, hormones, and immune system all react to connection. You and your spouse are not two distinct entities coexisting. You are two systems that continuously influence one another's longevity, happiness, and health. And that insight brings us to the deepest truth of all. Because it alters our perception of aging itself, once we realize that love is cellular in nature, rather than only emotional or physical. The following section will show you how this connection chemistry may be nature's most potent way to feel younger, live longer, and maintain a healthy heart well into old age. 10. Longevity, love, and the secret to staying young. In my over 30 years as a doctor, I have witnessed a reality that no textbook could ever fully describe. People live longer when they are in love. Real, consistent, and profoundly connected love. This isn't a romantic overstatement. It's based on biology and has been studied for decades. Your body reacts in quantifiable, healing ways when you share your life with someone who gets you and who touches your hand when words can't express how you feel. Your blood pressure remains constant. The activity of your immune cells increases. Oxytocin, serotonin, and dopamine, the very chemicals that guard against anxiety, inflammation, and even premature aging, are released by your brain. By reestablishing intimacy with their partners, I have seen men in their 70s regain vitality. I've witnessed women in their 60s regain their glow, not from beauty products or supplements, but from love, laughter, and a sense of desire. The body follows when the heart feels connected. Every cell seems to remember its purpose, which is to love and be loved. This has a clear scientific basis. Heart disease, dementia, and depression are less common in couples who maintain their emotional and physical intimacy. Their sleep gets better, their hormones balance out, and even their skin begins to regenerate. The biological clock is literally slowed down by touch, tenderness, and trust. I was once told by one of my patients, "Doctor, I believe my wife is my medicine." Since he was correct, I grinned. Through the nervous system, a message is sent with each embrace, smile, and peaceful night instead of arguing. You are safe, and longevity is built on safety. When the body feels safe, it heals more quickly. When it is loved, it ages more slowly. Intimacy still serves a purpose, even as people age. It changes. Performance and perfection are no longer important. It has to do with presence. Two people over 60 who still decide to hold, kiss, or just lie together in silence serve as a reminder to their bodies that life is still worthwhile. The act of connecting turns into a survival signal. So maybe the true source of youth isn't a secret supplement, diet, or pill. Perhaps it can be heard in the soft beat of two old hearts that aren't willing to stop being tender. Because the most potent anti-aging substance the body will ever encounter is love in its purest form. I want to leave you with one last message as we approach the conclusion, one that connects the science, the emotion, and the spirit of connection. Because what follows is more than just medical advice. Every soul should be reminded of this life truth. In conclusion, comprehending, bonding, and the splendor of growing old together. After decades of researching the human heart and body, I've come to the conclusion that humans are not meant to live alone. All of our internal cells, hormones, and heartbeats are wired for communication. From the intriguing science of semen and the female body to the emotional chemistry that unites two people over time, we have explored a wide range of concepts together. However, there's a deeper message that science cannot adequately convey beneath all the research and biological facts. The remarkable capacity for empathy and understanding between two people. Love starts to take on different forms as we get older. It doesn't get weaker, it just gets quieter. The meaning grows deeper, even though the passion may lessen. Trust sustains what was once motivated by impulse. Physical sensations transform into deeply spiritual ones. Not only are they sharing affection, but a man and a woman in their 60s or 70s are exchanging life itself when they gaze at each other with warmth. Memory, forgiveness, and healing are all carried by their touch. Their laughter strengthens the heart by sending signals through the nervous system. Their relationship turns into the medication that contemporary science is still trying to replicate in lab settings. In my office, I've sat next to innumerable couples, some brittle, some passionate, some rediscovering love after years apart. And I've always been humbled by the pattern I've observed. People who continue to talk, touch, and trust age differently are those who remain inquisitive about one another. Their spirits remain youthful, their movements remain assured, and their eyes remain bright. Even the best medications cannot protect them from the chemistry of connection, and that is the most encouraging thing that medicine can tell me. Thus, if you learn anything from this trip, it should be this: never undervalue the therapeutic value of closeness, compassion, and sincere understanding. These are not insignificant gestures, whether they are made with a tender touch, a kind remark, or a shared giggle. They are signs of life. They serve as a reminder to your body and brain that you still matter, that you belong, and that love is still the most potent medicine there is, regardless of age. Desire and discovery are not extinguished with age. It marks the start of a more profound and significant form of love, one that prioritizes truth over fear, connection over performance, and presence over perfection. Thus, keep in mind that although your physical body may age, your ability to love, be joyful, and rejuvenate yourself never goes out of style. And that's the most lovely thing about being human, my friends.